Now that he knows that you go home, Kenyans, be ready. You might see another 2007 in action. And that's why he's putting all his clansmen in police. Is that why he's promoting all of them in OCSs, in all police stations? Is that why he's putting all the new recruits in the KDF, in the military from his own tribe? Because he wanted to rule by force. William Ruto, if you go back to who he is, we knew he was involved in crimes against humanity, rape, displacement, and murder of Kenyans in 2007. We knew that he ordered banning of people in charge in Kiambaa, in Uasin Gishu. But thanks to his mouth, he was able to convince every Kenyan that he has now seen the light. He's now a saved man. No wonder I was carrying Bible all through, saying God, talk about praise God. And people thought, look, he maybe have been a criminal, but man has changed. Sadly, it was just a hyena wearing a sheepskin. The modus operandi have not changed. Ruto's maintenance of power is now using goons to sustain himself in power.
My name is Wakili Edward Mureu. I'm the Member of Parliament for Gatanga constituency. I also happen to be the founder member of the DCP party, the party of the mountain, the party of listening to the ground. And today I want us to touch on a number of issues about this country. And I tell Kenyans, we are on our own. If we don't help ourselves, we on our own. Remember our history. We came to power through the UDA party. And President William Ruto, in his rhetoric and manner of speaking, he was able to convince many people that he can be able to manage this country. But it has come out clearly that he's incompetent, he is corrupt, he is inept, he is tribal, and this country needs a salvation. One of the key driver which drove votes to William Ruto in 2022, because he was able to embrace the need to create employment for our people, both at the informal sector and formal sector. I also do recall in the manifesto, it is stated very clearly of the UDA party that the party will come up with policies to encourage private sector to expand their production, to ensure that they have enough capital, because the private sector was the engine for employment in this country. But as you well know, when he came to power, instead of empowering the private sector, he burdened them with all manner of taxes, from income tax to health tax, the SHA, to more NSSF, to housing to an extent that instead of private sector borrowing to expand their capacity for production, currently the private sector is borrowing to pay taxes. That's the sad part of it. And then, because he's a man who has a very, we call it, he has an easy mouth. He can talk a whole day. And it's also very convincing. Now, instead of empowering the engines of production, he decided to use the public sector as a means of creating employment. But this employment, number one, they are skewed on a tribal line. And as you saw the other day, out of 5,000 KDF recruits, 900 came from his own tribe. 900 came from his own tribe. You also saw the other day the promotions in our police stations in Nairobi in particular. 90% of all the OCSs are from his own tribe. In seclusion of the other 42 tribes of this country. He also saw the other day, it came out clearly, he'd been saying that he's creating employment he's employing teachers. You saw in Narok, he was just bragging that he has employed close to about 100,000 teachers since he came to power. But he has not employed anybody. What people have been buying employment. And I want to thank Wetangula, the speaker, who sadly is a youth winger of Kenya Kwanza government, who stated very clearly that the purpose of creating jobs, especially employing teachers, is a pipeline for politicians who are linked or who associate themselves or who would link the Kenya Kwanza administration to get employment letters, and subsequently, instead of employing Kenyans on merit, they go and sell those TSC employment letters to the poor Kenyans. So, Ruto's employment is either, you must either come from his own tribe for you to get employed, or you must pay to get employment. That has happened in all sectors of this economy. And therefore, the venom, the driver, the injector of corruption in this country is none other than William Samoei Ruto. The man is corrupt to the core. He cannot do anything without corruption. And this takes our country way, way, way deep in abyss. Because the young people who are right now in colleges, the ones who are finishing school, they're asking themselves, okay, if I'm not a Kalenjin, how do I get a job? If I don't have 400,000 to pay to be employed in the TSC, how do I get a job? And to make the matter worse, if you sell an employment at 400,000, an average teacher gets about 25,000.
Right.
How many years will it take for him to be able to recover that money, to pay that debt? It's so sad. And that is not only in the TSC sector, it's in all sectors. When there was employment in KRA, Same thing happened. People were getting letters, they were paying for it, and more of those employment was skewed towards the people from William Ruto's tribe. So shamelessly, he has said, since I'm not sure whether I'll come back in 2027, and since I'm not able to build roads in intelligent land, since I'm not able to provide them with water and electricity, why don't I just make sure that they get employment? And that's what you find in our entire 22 cabinet positions. 80% of all the PSs are from Kalenjin community. Now, this country cannot proceed without a president. How do you make 90% of all the recruits in KDF to be coming from one tribe? How? What will happen to other Kenyans? What kind of country are we running? And sadly, he is doing that shamelessly, without caring. And he has instituted corruption schemes on the levels of employment. What message are we sending to the next generation? And sadly, the regime is so inept and incompetent that it cannot start anything and succeed. Still on education, there was pomp and pageantry. When Ruto was trying to say he has come up with a new way of bundling the issue of university education, some of us were taken to university by HELP, and HELP did not care which family you come from. I do recall in my university days, people who came from poor families, they were getting that HELP money. We used to call it boom. And they educate their siblings. After all, they will repay that money when they get employment. The others who are well-to-do were the ones who were buying what you call the boom boxes and partying all the time. Again, it's their responsibility. They will repay the money. Now, he came up with a bundling on trying to say, if you have a cow, you are rich. If you have a house is made of brick, you are rich. And the ones which your house is made of thatch, you are poor. I think it's so inept, bearing in mind that he came into this country on a current call of hustlers. He's in power courtesy of the hustlers. Hustlers are not rich, but hustlers have hope to become rich one day. And therefore, when you come up with when you do away with an old, well-tried and tested system of education, and come and do what you call trial and error on a system which nobody understands. The other day, I think yesterday, he said it has not worked. He's coming up with a new system, and basically we are saying long and short. An Englishman said, "Do not mend the pot is not broken." That system was working. The only thing which was lacking is funding. The only thing they needed to do, the students have increased the funding in the budget. Students will apply. When they apply, they will pay their school fees. They will have their pocket money. And eventually, when they get employment, they will pay back the money. It's a revolving fund. Some of us paid off our help long time ago to be able to help the other upcoming young graduates who are now in universities. It's a revolving fund. Why come up with all manner of halubalo and high-sounding policies and tried and tested and bring down our education system in this country? There is a lot of hue and cry for our students who are well educated. They have passed the exams. Harambes are all over. The cards they have cards all over, trying to raise money to take those students to universities. And yet, help is there, supposed to take care of them. When it comes to issue, again,
The same thing has happened on health. I'm very happy when he went there last week trying to talk about how SHA has worked. And the question which we asked him, you brought in SHA and killed NHIF on a promise that matters pertaining to Harambee, medical Harambees, will never be heard again. Is it true that we are no longer do Harambees? We do. Is it true that SHA is working? It is not. SHA was again an avenue to make money for the developers. And whenever you hear big money mentioned, Ruto and his people are there. They bought a system for 140 billion. It's unheard of. And this is the same system which is not even working. Following all that system, every transaction, you must pay enabling fee. That's the cash cow for his own people. So whatever he is making money. Come to matters pertaining to housing. I'm a big employer. I contribute to the National Housing Fund. My staff are doing the same. That money, in all essence, I hope it can be directed to more deserving activities like education and national infrastructure. It's very sad to see or to drive across the country and find what you call white elephants, block of flats in the middle of nowhere. When you put up a residential area or flats in the Gachagua constituency, in the middle of Del Monte Estate, in my constituency, everybody has a house. Nobody sleeps on trees. In the middle of nowhere, there's no water, there is no school. So are you telling people to come from their own homes and come and stay in those houses in the middle of nowhere? There are no roads. There is no electricity. Even those houses have no title. So you spend hundreds and hundreds of millions for houses where nobody is living. Why can't we be able to allocate money based on demand as opposed to rhetoric and PR? He is very happy when he sees some big buildings all over the country. But the question is, at what price have those houses been built? I wish that money can go to eradicate slums in this country. I wish that money can be invested in cities to expand their sewer and water treatment plants, because we are heading to where 60 or 70% of our population will be living in the cities. I wish we are expanding the sewer system from Nairobi and other cities. I wish we are expanding the water supply for our towns and cities, as opposed to building white elephants in the middle of nowhere. And that's why we are saying, if we get an opportunity to be elected as an alternative government in 2027, we shall have a conversation on the housing. Number one, we need to remove it because it's a burden to people. You are a teacher from Gachagua constituency, is contribute to that money. And yet he has his own house. And even if you want a house from wherever it has been built, he must pay for it. So it does not make sense. There's no value. And therefore, we are saying the Kenya Kwanza government is the most incompetent on a level of incompetency. They score E. But in terms of rhetoric and the PR, they score A. The man can talk from morning to evening. And that's what we are saying. He has reduced the seat of the president to be very unpresidential. President is an executive. He's not a youth winger to be permanently on top of cars. He's supposed to sit down, plan, get reports, discuss, and make sure that he only comes out in public to announce success. But you cannot be able to campaign from the day when you are elected to the next elections. And that's why this country is going nowhere. And I'm saying, in the country, we are in deep trouble. Coming to matters on security, I have first-hand experience of goonism in this country. We went to Kariobangi with His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua. Goons came into the church. We were tear gassed. We went to a tima in Othaya. Inside the church, we were tear gassed. We went to Kikuyu on a public rally. Goons were using tear gas and bullets to chase us away. You saw what happened in Orkalau. A peaceful election. People have come out, 60% turnout. People are peacefully voting their candidate of choice. But when they knew that things have gone haywire, they wanted to make sure that the place looks like Gaza for IEBC to cancel the election and postpone the people's verdict, which did not happen. The question is, was it necessary? William Ruto, if you go back to who he is, we knew he was involved in crimes against humanity, rape, displacement, and murder of Kenyans in 2007. We knew that he ordered banning of people in charge in Kiamba in Uasin Gishu. But thanks to his mouth, he was able to convince every Kenyan that he has now seen the light. He's now a saved man. No wonder he was carrying Bible all through, saying God, talk about praise God. And people thought, look, he maybe have been a criminal, but man has changed. Sadly, it was just a hyena wearing a sheepskin. The modus operandi have not changed. Ruto's maintenance of power is now using goons to sustain himself in power. And because the policemen have refused to participate in murder and displacement of people and thuggery and terrorism against his own citizens, they have said no. We have a code of conduct. They have said no. And that's why he has to look for thugs who have no political or social or even moral responsibility to now manage politics. You saw what happened in Homa Bay. It's a shame. And you saw even heard what this minister of goons called Murkomen was trying to justify. We have gone even to the media ourselves as DCP and given the list and the numbers of the rogue policemen in that Sierra squad. We have given the list, but nobody has ever been called to write a statement or even be charged anywhere. That confirms the people who are doing the goonism, a culture of goonism in this country. It is an appendage of William Ruto's government. And that's why they can't be charged. They have walked scot-free. I'm very sad and very worried about 2027. Now that he knows that you go home, Kenyans, be ready. You might see another 2007 in action. And that's why he's putting all his clansmen in police. Is that why he's promoting all of them in OCSs, in all police stations? Is that why he's putting all the new recruits in the KDF, in the military from his own tribe? Because he wants to rule by force. He wants to rule by force. And this culture of goonism, it can only work temporarily. Because, and I've seen it, when you go and terrorize a population, people who give you votes, When you go to Itima, when you go to Karao, when you go to Kariobangi, when you go to Kikuyu, when you go to Remuru, and terrorize citizens, who gave you votes? How many votes do you get out of that? How many votes? How many votes do you add to yourself? And you can keep on going around into the whole country on top of cars and saying no matter of things, using the energy the wrong way. But how many votes do you get by unleashing goons on the population which elected you? How many? In fact, what happens, the regime becomes a hated regime. And people are looking for just an opportunity to take it out. And therefore, my take, my fellow Kenyans, be ready to get this country. Now, things have shifted. The whole country, led by Murima, has shown the whole world that you can use money, you can use goons, but the will of the people remains supreme. All Kalau is a good example. Now what has he done? He has known the best way now is to do what he called divide and rule. In the mountain, we have a minimum of 8 million votes. To him, that's a nightmare because all of them are against him. So what does he want to do? Is to be able to bring what we call minion presidents and minion parties. The stage number one, he was trying to say there is a Murima West and a Murima East. Me, I heard it the other day. I've never heard that before. You know, these are people who have been born and brought up together. Same DNA, same language, same everything. And then you are telling a brother and a brother, you are from the East, me, I'm from the West. How stupid could that be? How stupid could that be? People have been together for, you come to divide the family. Why can't you divide your colleges from Tugen and Nandi and Kipsigis and wherever? Why? And Pokot? Why can't you divide them? Why are you dividing the Burima from East and West? I wish that's what he's doing. Now, the Murima has resisted. They said no. Our brothers in the West, where you call in the West, and our brothers in the East are the same, and you're suffering under your regime, and you've refused to divide them. So what he has done is taking the next step to build small parties in every county. To build small parties in every county and put in president or someone to vie so that it can break the mountain. Taking you back in 1992, Moi did the same. When Matiba vied, Kibaki was prompted to vie again. And what happened? Both of them went to the ballot with Moi. Moi got 1.9 million. Matiba got 1.4 million. Kibaki got 1 million. Moi became the president, 1.9. Again, this 2.4. That's the same story. It's going to happen. In Muranga, you saw the other day. And I think, and I'm very proud that the party leader of the DCP party has said it again and again and again. That await, behold and await, the wheelbarrow parties are going to come out in big numbers. If those people who are vying, now who are launching those parties, are men and women of goodwill, where were they when Rigathi Gachagua was being impeached? Where were they? Where were they when the Gen Z were being massacred in this city? What did they say about it? Where were they? Where were they when the goons were unleashed on the Kenyan population across the country? Why did they say anything? Why were they when the recruitment of TSC was put on auction, where were they? Where were they when the whole KDF recruitment, 99% were from one tribe? Where were they? And then the question is, what value are they going to bring on the table? Because when this country needed them most, they decided silence was their best convenience. And clearly, it shows, and I'm not very far from truth, they are collaborating with the oppressor of this country, the Kenya Kwanza regime. And that's why you find when they launch those parties, the first people to congratulate them are the people from Kenya Kwanza government. And when they learn the mistake of that congratulation message, now they start attracting and telling people that anybody who has been in loggerheads with the Tea Party leader of the DP party is not welcome to this party. It's a big lie. It is a party which is met, is a soft landing for members of Kenya Kwanza government who have lost favor with the public. That will be their refuge. That will be their refuge. And what I'm trying to say long and short, everybody who is launching those parties, there's that party in Muranga. Information has it that he's an expert in stock exchange, and people have told me as much that they have interest with Ruto in Sidon Bank, they have interest with Ruto in Kenya Airways, they have interest with Ruto in Kenya Power, and that's why you find they buy the shares with insider information on, because they know the kind of budgetary allocation those issues are being given. And therefore, they can't come back and say they are a savior. And I am happy to see what young people or Kenyans are doing in all the media forums. They are saying, you come, but we know you are yellow, a blue, or a pink wheelbarrow. Expect other parties to come from Kiambu. We know who are coming those parties. In fact, I saw the analysis. They are saying, we are from Kiambu. We cannot be led by people from Nyeri or Murang'a. We are coming with our own party, but it's not their own party. It is Ruto's party. Them, they are comfortable being led by Ruto, but they are not comfortable being led by their own brothers from Murang'a or Nyeri, wherever it is they were talking about, because they are working at the behest of William Ruto and Kenya Kwanza government to come and divide the mountain. Shortly, expect another party to be launched in Kirinyaga. There will be another party which will come in Meru. There's another party which is being launched in Laikipia. There's another party which is being launched in Nakuru. And there will be another party being launched in Kajiado. Everywhere DCP party has a stronghold, there will be a presidential candidate and a party to divide the votes. But I'm very, very proud about Kenyans. We are living in what we call information age. They know exactly, every move is countered by information. And therefore, Kenyans know that there are many traps put along their way on how to sustain this corrupt, incompetent, and murderous regime. They know they will do everything possible to make sure they come back. But Kenyans have known two things. We are living in information age. They know all those parties are supposed to divide the votes. And number two, Kenyans have also realized, and they were taught by Orkalau, that money, when it comes to politics, means almost nothing. Because people's aspirations are supreme. People's desires are supreme. You can't come one day, promise me to put money in my pocket, then the following day you come with a gun shooting the Gen Zs, then follow me up with the goons, then on the other hand, you bring me goodies and you want me to vote for you. What I'll do, and our Kalau has shown up very clearly, I'll take the goodies. But on the voting day, I do the right thing. And that is the biggest dilemma which Kenya Kwanza government has. All this money, all this corruption you see is purely meant to wheel the corruption engine come 2027, to bribe people to change the will of the people. But Kenyans have shown clearly that you can still take the money and choose the government which suits you. And finally, as I conclude, I've seen William Ruto running up and down. The other day, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua went to Umuro decay. He took him there. And then suddenly, 2 days later, Ruto is following him there. The other day, you saw that His Excellency was in Tharaka-Nithi and Embu and Meru. I hear next week Ruto is following him down there, and to me, it is a sign of desperation. What Ruto did, and sadly so, I would say he's the author of his own misfortune. He came to power with great goodwill from the people of Mount Kenya. But what he's shown them is pure betrayal. And I would like to say this: the people of Mount Kenya, they don't shout, they don't throw stones, they don't go to the streets. But what they do, they make up their mind, they keep quiet, and wait for the day. And that day, they will come out in numbers you've never seen. When the people of Mount Kenya are caged on one corner, they keep quiet, they don't shout, they don't throw stones, they listen to you, they never even insult you. But on the D-Day, the turnout will be over 90%. It's only any person who will be in hospital who is not going to vote, because they can't be able to fathom and see or even imagine that Ruto is coming back. Because if they come back, the economy is dead. You saw the other day goons being sent in towns like Keno, towns like Moranga, towns like Idrai, to go and ban businesses. Towns like even Emeru, I saw that, and Embu. Goons were transported to those small towns to go and ban businesses, to be able to carry a political messaging that it's the people of Mrima who are protesting against the government. There is no way Mrima people can ban their own businesses. They know each other. They are not suicidal. And people have kept that. They know what happened, and they are waiting for the day. And therefore, I would like to say that us as the alternative government, what we'd like to assure Kenyans is that we shall provide one single candidate. Whether he's a mono eye, whether he's one-legged or one-headed, but we shall provide one single candidate who we shall rally around against all Kenyans to be able to remove the regime of William Ruto. And as I conclude, Ruto has called us all of names. They have called us brainless, agendaless. But I would like to tell him, it's true. We may look agendaless or brainless, but we are so clever that we know we don't need any other idea or any other agenda other than the agenda of removing you from power. You've betrayed the country. You've made the country more poorer. You have rooted everything. You have made our children lack any hope in this country. And there is no way Kenyans will allow you to get another 5 years. We are just preparing ourselves with one single candidate to ensure Ruto goes home and never ever come anywhere near power in this country. Even if he comes back with that old mouth of his, trying to sweet talk Kenyans. We know you are just a hyena wearing a sheepskin. You are a murderer, you are a thief, you are a plunderer, you are a liar, and all the names which can be put upon bad leadership.